Under a cold, starlit Oregon sky, Mara Lowell's car winds along the misty coastline toward Crescent Bay, a forgotten town untouched by fame. She's traded designer gowns for a hoodie and the roar of crowds for crashing waves. When she pulls up to Ellie's weathered cabin, she hesitates, heart pounding harder than it did on Oscar night. From inside, faint guitar notes drift through the open door. The same melody he wrote for her years ago. For the first time in years, she isn't Mara the star. She's just Mara, the woman who once left love for ambition. Their reunion is silent yet powerful. Eli steps into the doorway, his expression unreadable, surprise, disbelief, and something softer flicker in his eyes. She stands there, rain-slicked and trembling, unsure if she's welcome. When he finally pulls her into his arms, it isn't cinematic. It's raw and human. The air between them hums with everything unsaid, apologies, memories, and longing. No cameras, no press, just two people trying to recognize each other after years apart. The embrace says what words can't. They've missed each other deeply. But something fundamental has changed. As they pull apart, reality seeps in. Eli never asked her to give up Hollywood. He only wanted honesty, balance, a place in her world. But she's given it all up, mistaking sacrifice for love. The unspoken tension fills the quiet cabin. His music continues softly, and she realizes it belongs more to this town than to her story. Love brought her here, but love alone may not be enough to keep her. In that still moment, Mara begins to understand the truth. Leaving Hollywood doesn't mean she's finally found home. It means she's lost her way. Mara Lowell's life has always been a battle between love and validation. Growing up in a small Kansas town, she watched her parents' marriage crumble into bitterness and blame. Her mother, stuck in debt, often called Mara selfish for chasing dreams instead of helping at home. Her father simply disappeared, leaving silence where affection should have been. So at 18, Mara ran to Hollywood, to reinvention, to applause. Every award, every headline was proof she mattered. But behind a perfect smile was exhaustion, a woman desperate to be loved for who she was, not who the world expected her to be. Eli Harmon lived the opposite story. Once poised for stardom as an indie musician, he watched his band implode under contracts and lies. Disillusioned, he returned to Crescent Bay, where the air smelled of salt and freedom. He poured his talent into teaching music to local kids, trading fame for peace. Yet a quiet bitterness lingered, a mistrust of anything touched by Hollywood. When Mara entered his life at a charity concert, she shattered that wall. He saw not the actress, but the woman beneath, fragile, witty, hungry for truth. For a while, love made them fearless, until distance made them strangers. Now reunited, Mara and Eli try to build something real from their fragments. She learns the rhythm of normal life, grocery runs, morning coffee, and the ache of quiet nights. He teaches her to fish, to breathe again. But in the drawer beside her bed, unopened scripts whisper temptations of the life she left behind. Fans begin to find their way to Crescent Bay. Reporters follow like wolves. Mara's smile starts to tremble under the weight of her old world returning. She's happy but restless, caught between freedom and fame, while Eli watches, afraid that history is repeating itself. One misty morning, a knock breaks the calm of Crescent Bay. On the porch lies a package wrapped in sleek black paper. Her name scrawled in Jenna Park's familiar handwriting. Mara freezes. Inside, she finds a script and a handwritten note. "You were born for this role. The director won't do it without you." It's a biopic about a woman who gives up everything for love. A mirror to her own life. The words burn through her chest. She hides it beneath her pillow, but the weight of it follows her all day, whispering, maybe her story isn't done yet, That night, when Eli sleeps, Mara can't resist. She reads by lamplight, tears slipping down her cheeks as the lines echo her own choices: ambition, sacrifice, heartbreak. Eli wakes, sees her crying, and gently asks what's wrong. She panics and lies. It's just a letter from LA. He believes her, though doubt clouds his eyes. As she clutches the script to her chest, she realizes how dangerous hope can feel. The story speaks to her soul, the part that still aches to create, to matter. For the first time since leaving Hollywood, Mara feels both alive and guilty for it. Days later, her phone rings. Jenna's voice cuts through the quiet. "You don't get to vanish, Mara. You owe your audience something real." The words slice deeper than intended. When Eli discovers the truth, their fragile peace shatters. "You said you were done chasing applause," he says, voice trembling. She fires back, "And you said you'd never stop playing music. But you gave up too." The argument erupts like thunder. Beneath the anger is pain, not betrayal, but fear. They both realize love isn't enough if it means burying who they are. The cabin's silence afterward feels permanent. The peace of Crescent Bay shatters overnight. A single photo, Mara laughing with Eli outside the local cafe, goes viral with the headline, "Hollywood's Lost Queen Found." Within days, reporters swarmed the tiny town, snapping photos through windows, shouting questions about her mystery man. Locals, once charmed by her humility, start to turn cold. The diner owner raises prices. Strangers drive miles just to glimpse her. What was meant to be her sanctuary becomes a circus. Mara hides behind drawn curtains, guilt gnawing at her, while Eli faces whispers at every corner. His quiet world invaded by her fame. The intrusion cuts deeper than either expect. Business in town flourishes, but at a personal cost. Parents pull their children from Ellie's music classes, fearing exposure. The school board restructures, and Eli loses his job. Collateral damage in the wake of her stardom. Resentment festers. He tries to smile, but humiliation weighs heavy. He can't walk down Main Street without someone calling him the man she left Hollywood for. One night, after too many drinks, his bitterness spills out. "You didn't just bring the cameras," he slurs. "You brought my failure." Mara reaches for him, but he turns away, drowning in pride and pain. When the silence becomes unbearable, Mara finally confesses the truth she's been avoiding. She wants to act again. The words tremble, honest and heartbreaking. Eli listens, eyes hollow, then says softly, "Then go. Because if you stay, you'll start resenting me." His voice doesn't rise. It breaks. The truth lands heavier than anger ever could. Mara packs her bags through tears, every folded shirt a piece of her life with him. At the door, she hesitates, torn between the man who gave her peace and the world that once gave her purpose. Either choice means losing part of herself forever. Mara steps back into Los Angeles like a ghost revisiting her own myth. Billboards still bear her face, but the city feels colder now, faster, sharper. The industry that once adored her now views her as a liability, a risk wrapped in beauty. Jenna fights tooth and nail to get her one final chance, the biopic about a woman who gives up love for ambition. It's art imitating life too cruelly. As Mara steps onto set, surrounded by lights and makeup, she realizes how foreign it all feels. Like returning to a language she used to speak fluently, but no longer believes in. During the pivotal scene, the one where her character leaves the man she loves, Mara's composure collapses. The line blurs between performance and confession. Her voice trembles as she says, "I'm tired of pretending my choices don't hurt people." And the tears that fall aren't scripted. The director, mesmerized, lets the cameras keep rolling. The moment becomes cinematic truth, raw, haunting, real. When the footage leaks online, it spreads like wildfire. But far away in Crescent Bay, Eli watches silently. For the first time, he sees her not as the woman who left, but as one finally telling her truth. Ellie's response isn't anger. It's music. He writes The Woman Who Left Twice, a haunting ballad about loving someone enough to let them go. Released anonymously under his initials, the song captures hearts worldwide. When Mara hears it, she knows instantly who it's from. A year later, she's nominated for another Oscar, but something in her has changed. As her name is announced, she rises gracefully, then walks out halfway through the ceremony. No cameras, no speech, just quiet freedom. Outside, under the same blinding flashes that once defined her, Mara smiles, not for fame, but for finally letting go. Months after walking away from Hollywood, Mara returns to Crescent Bay, drawn not by regret, but by purpose. On a lonely cliff overlooking the sea stands an abandoned lighthouse, cracked walls, broken glass, and the smell of salt and time. She buys it, seeing not ruin, but renewal. Slowly, she transforms it into something new, an acting workshop for local kids who dream big but lack the means. Laughter fills the once empty halls. Where fame once fueled her, now creativity does. The lighthouse becomes her symbol, a beacon for others who need to find light in their own darkness. One golden evening, while Mara helps a shy girl rehearse her lines, a familiar melody drifts through the ocean air, the same guitar riff that once played through an open cabin door. She steps outside, heart racing. There stands Eli, older, humbled, with the sea wind in his hair. His eyes meet hers, and the world seems to still. "You found your own stage," he says softly, smiling. "Guess I did too." He tells her about his music program for underprivileged teens, about the peace he's finally found. Their dreams no longer compete. They finally coexist. Under the lighthouse glow, they talk until the stars appear, not about the past, but the present, who they've become. No apologies, no grand gestures, just quiet understanding. "No more running," Mara whispers, "from love, from dreams, from ourselves." Eli nods, taking her hand. They don't promise forever, just today, fully, honestly. The waves crash below like applause from a gentler world. For the first time, Mara isn't performing. She's simply living. A woman who left twice, but returned to herself once and for all. The lighthouse stands tall behind them, its beam cutting through the endless dark. The story comes full circle through the eyes of the next generation. One of Mara's students, a quiet girl with a second-hand camera, creates a short film in the lighthouse, a simple, beautiful story about a woman who walks away from fame to rediscover love and truth. As the film plays at a small community screening, Mara sits in the back, watching tears shimmer across the audience. She realizes this is her legacy, not trophies or headlines, but inspiration. The art she once chased now flows through others. Her life has become the story that helps others find their own. Later, as the evening sun melts into the horizon, Mara stands on the lighthouse balcony beside Eli. The sky burns gold and rose, the same colors that once lit the red carpets she walked. Only now, there are no cameras, no applause, just the ocean breathing, steady and real. In a soft voiceover, she reflects, "They said I left Hollywood, but really, I just came home." The words aren't scripted. They're truth. For the first time, Mara feels whole, not an actress, not a runaway, but a woman who has finally learned to live her story, not perform it. Inside, the last rays of sunlight touch the windowsill where her old Oscar statue sits, half covered in dust. Once a symbol of everything she thought she needed, it now quietly gleams in the fading light, transformed into something humbler, a memory, not a measure. Mara glances at it and smiles, then turns back to Eli and the sea. The golden reflection flickers like a frame fading to black. The screen would close there. No applause, no music, just the calm of fulfillment. The goodbye scene around the world ends not in loss, but in luminous peace.